Welcome. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah.
Amen.
Amen.
So remember we talked to you about this verse here. Let's see. Yes. That the brothers, after Jacob died, the brothers went off to Joseph. They were terrified that he might take it out on them now that their father was deceased, right? And they're quoting, I think we may have done a little bit of this, but we didn't do the Rashi on it, right? So they said to Joseph that their father had said, Kot tomru Yosef, thus you shall say to Joseph, Ana sana pesha achecha, uh, we beg you to forgive the offense of your brothers, v'chatatam, and their guilt, ki ra'aga malucha, because they caused evil to you. Va'ata now, sana, please forgive lefesha avdei Elohei avicha, the transgression, the offense of the servants of your father's God. Vayef Yosef b'dabram elav. Joseph cried. He got emotional when they spoke to him. And that's one of the things I really love about this story is how it describes the emotions, right, of the relationships, and how Joseph is someone who could be touched quite easily. So Rashi, Sana lefesha avdei Elohei avicha, please, we beg you to forgive overlook the offense of the servants of your father's God. Im avicha made. So why this mention, right? It is a little bit of an unusual expression. Why mention that, right? Im avicha made. What they're doing is they're sort of giving a message here. If your father has died, Elohav kayam, nevertheless his God is still existent. Vehem avadav, and they are his servants. God, going on. Vayelchu gam echav vayiplu lefanav, and his brothers went. So they sent a messenger to say this, right? And then it's saying now the brothers themselves went, and they prostrated themselves before him. They fell before him, vayomru, and they said, Hinenu lechal avadim. We are your servants. We're your slaves. We will become your slaves. Vayelchu gam echav, right? His brothers went as well. Musaf al hashlichut, right? So they had originally sent the children of Bilhah and Zilpah to them, right? To Joseph, and now Jacob's sons also now came to him, and on top of the emissaries they had sent. Okay. Vayomer Alehem Yosef. This is perhaps one of, if not the greatest statement. These two statements here are two of the most beautiful statements in Genesis. And I think if humanity could understand these two sentences, it would prevent wars and other kinds of terrible things happening. Vayomer Alehem Yosef al tirahu. So first of all, Joseph said, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. And here we go. Ki hatachat Elohim ani. Am I in the place of God? Am I in the place of God? Am I the one to judge you? And then the next sentence he makes puts a context to this. Right? So, Ki hatachat Elohim ani. Shema bimkomo ani. So you have to understand, it's not a declarative statement. He's not saying, I am in the place of God, right? This ha is an interrogative ha. And as Rashi points out, it is with tmiha, it's with surprise. Im hayiti rotze lahar, I believe, lahara lachem, laharea lachem, I think it's lahara. If I wanted to do evil to you, klum ani yachol, am I in a place to do this? Am I able to? V'halo atem kulchem chashavtem alai ra. So here we go. Look at this. So this is a beautiful way in which Rashi connects it to the next sentence which we are yet to read. Indeed, halo, atem kulchem chashavtem alai ra. You all intended evil against me. V'Hakadosh Baruch Hu, right? Chashva l'tovah. But the Holy One, blessed be He, had good intentions, intended for good. V'heyach ani levadi yachol lahara. And how am I capable, all by myself, to perform wickedness, to do something wicked to you, right? To treat you evilly. How is it possible? Let's take a look at that next sentence. So let's see. Yeah, here we are. V'atem chashavtem alai ra'ah. You had intended to do me evil. Elohim chashava l'tovah. But God thought of it, intended for it, for good. In what sense? Leman aso kayom hazeh lachayot amrav. In order to do just as we see today, as today, to sustain a great number of people, right? Many, many people. Va'ata, and now, al tiruga, do not, or I'd say even so now, do not be afraid. Ani achalkel etchem, I will sustain you, I'll provide for you, ve'et tapchim, and your children, va'yinachem otam, and he comforted them, va'daber alibam, and he spoke to their hearts. That's what does it exactly mean to say he spoke to their hearts? Va'daber alibam, dvarim hamitkaplim halev, words that the heart would accept. Think about it, conversations, right? You can have a conversation with someone, and especially if it's a sensitive conversation, and you can speak in a way that's respectful and loving, or you could speak in a way that's not respectful, disrespectful, and give people that along with whatever it is that you do need to say, now you've conveyed emotions now that work up people and put them in a place where they have to deal with those as well as what you're trying to tell them. So, Achelo Yeradatat, this is what he said to them. Before you came down Lakan, right here, Hayumer, in other words, before you all arrived in Egypt, Hayumer Rananim alai, they would grumble about me, Sha'ani Eved, that I'm a mere slave. People were grumbling, look at the slave, and how the slave now is second in command in Egypt. Where does he get that from? But by through your means, Noda, it became known, Sha'ani ben Chorim, that I am in fact a free person. Should I kill you? What would people say? Kat shel bachurim ra. They're going to say, "Oh, he just saw a bunch of guys. That's what happened." And he convinced them to praise him, right? Va'amar achayhem, and he said, "They're my brothers." Just made up a story. And in the end, he just killed them. Yesh lecha ach she'oreg et echav? Do you have a brother who kills his brothers? They mustn't have been his brothers. He must have been lying to us. So why would I even do this? So it's interesting, right? He's saying, even if it isn't for your sake, it's for my sake, I wouldn't kill you. It's not going to do me any good. So just interesting. He's saying, you don't have to think I'm being so charitable or that I'm being so nice. I also have practical reasons for doing it. And in some ways it's so lovely because he's saying, don't feel that you're having to beg me for mercy. He says it just from a strategic point of view, it would be ridiculous. Right. So just so that they don't have to feel that they owe him as much as they felt they owed him. Davar acher, a different interpretation. Asarai nerot lo yachlu lechabot ner echad. He says 10 candles are not able to put out one candle, etc. So what the etc. is, I'm not sure, and there's no reference here to where this is about and what this is really about, right? So I wish I could help you more, but this is all that Rashi is providing here, and I don't know if any of you have footnotes. Mead, I think you have a
Yes, I
comment.
do.
Please
The note
read
on
the
the
footnote.
candles goes back to Megillah,
Okay.
Tractate Megillah 16b.
Okay.
And basically, that's the reference that he was using.
But
So,
doesn't explain what the reference really is.
well, it said basically, I mean, this is the commentary in the Art Scroll. The brothers sold Joseph because they thought that he was unfit to be part of a holy nation. They thought that he was like Esau, who lost the potential for sanctity he inherited from Isaac. Joseph here told them that he did not succeed because he is a candle, an inextinguishable source of spiritual light. By the same token, they need not fear him, for they too are candles, and as such, existential components of the Jewish people. I've got
I
Megillah,
assume you mean essential components, right?
essential components,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
I have Tractate Megillah here. I can go look it up.
You don't have to. Look what we got here. Here it
Yeah.
is in Torah Mima. And
Okay.
there's the reference, Megillah 16b,
Right.
right?
Okay.
This is the exact quote. So I haven't had a chance to look at this. Um, okay, so I'm looking to see. He has quite a bit to say here. I'd like to prepare it rather than
Okay.
just trying to. It goes all the way to here, and he's comfortable with what he's saying to
Okay.
us. Let's finish off. Let's finish it
Sure.
up first, and if we have time, we'll take a look at it. I'm certainly willing to do that. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Uh, so here we go. Vayeshev Yosef b'Mitzrayim. Joseph dwelt in Egypt. Hu uveit aviv, he and his father's household. Vayechi Yosef me'ah ve'eser shanim. And Joseph lived 110 years. So I've certainly known there were people up in Santa Rosa who lived 110 years. Know that. At any rate, Vayar Yosef leEphraim b'nei Shilashim, and Joseph saw Ephraim's uh, children. I mean, this is essentially what it means, right? He saw from Ephraim grandchildren. Gam b'nei Machir, indeed, the children of Machir ben Menashe. So, in other words, here it means also the children of Machir, the son of Menashe, Yuldu al Birkei Yosef. They were born on, literally, it's saying on Joseph's knees, but I think it's saying that he was able to be their. Let's see, we're talking about great grandfather, right? Great grandchildren here, great grandchildren. So B'nai Shilashim, I'm going to guess. Hmm. I wonder if it's talking about great grandchildren that he experienced. That is a incredible blessing, right? Vayom Yosef el Achav, and Joseph said to his brothers, Anochi מת, I am about to die. Ve'Elohim pakod yivchot. It's so interesting, right? This man who spent so much of his life in Egypt, he said, but God will certainly take note of you. Ve'elah etchem min haaretz hazot, and he will bring you up from this land. El haaretz asher nishbah Avraham liYitzchak leYaakov, to the land which he swore to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. Vayishba Yosef et bnei Yisrael lemor, and he caused Joseph, right, made caused to swear the children of Israel, saying, "Pakod yivkod Elohim etchem." God will certainly take note of you, v'halitem et atzmotai mizeh, and so take up my bones from here. Well, Vayamat Yosef, and Joseph died, ben me'ah ve'eser shanim, at 100, he was 110 years of age. Ve'achatu, and they embalmed him. Vayisem ba'aron b'Mitzrayim, and they placed him in a casket in Egypt. Chazak, chazak, benid chazek. So, um, as we start this new year and as we conclude the Rashis of the book of Genesis, we do have some in the middle because we're doing this week by week, Parsha by Parsha. So I'm pretty sure we have one or two Parshiot where we have not done all the Rashis. But regardless, may God strengthen us for our studies. May God grant us wisdom and strength through the Torah. And may we enjoy these moments together and pray for all those who are suffering and who need help and wisdom. So I'm going to stop the share. Oh, I said I'd take a look. Let's take a look a little bit at the Torah Tamima here. Uva midrashim, and in midrashim, like Midrash Rabbah, etc., vahuva bepiresh Rashi, and it's brought in Rashi's explanation. Ita od rashot shanot. There are also other interpretations, right? She'amar lahem, that he said to them, shelo yifchadu shema Yehorachatam, that they shouldn't be afraid lest he kill them, that he might kill them. Kima habriyot omrot, because what would the people say? You know what people say? Klum yesh lecha ach shehoreg et achav, right? So we had Rashi saying that. Do you have a brother who kills his brothers? Yuyanshan, check it out. Umuvu'ar mizeh. And this, what becomes clear is shahayu yiraim shelo yargem. They were in fact very afraid that he might kill them. Ve'efshar lefaresh al pizeh, and one can explain al pizeh halashon, given the ways in which this is being expressed. Sha'amru lo, that they said to him, yistem. Oh, sorry. I think this is Sha'amru, that they thought. Lu yistamenu Yosef. Yeah, it says that, of course, in the text. Perhaps Joseph will want to take revenge on us. V'hashev yashiv lanu et kol hara'ah, etc. So the quote from the text before we read that text. Shalashon lu eino muvar. This term lu, right? Rashi went quite on it, right? Said quite a bit about it. It's not so clear because sometimes lu means, not just perhaps, it means it should only be, right? In other words, lu yehi, would it be? Rashi pireshahu milashon ulai, but here Rashi explains that it means perhaps. He says that's a little bit forced, that interpretation. Ulefri hadrash haniskar, and according to the drash, the interpretation that we mentioned, yesh lomar shekavanat halashon lu, that one could say that the intention of this term lu, kamo ulavai, right? Ulavai, well, let's see, right? Levi means, again, it should only be. That's what it's trying to say is halavai yistamenu Yosef, right? Look at this. That it sounds to me, before we move on too much further, this is, as I'm processing this myself, right? Halavai yistamenu Yosef, Joseph should, right? May he bear a grudge against us. V'hashev yashiv lanu et kol hara'ah asher gamalnu oto, and in fact return on us, right? On all the wickedness that we performed on him. V'hainu, and that's to say, sheyistapek la'asot lahem kamo she'asu hem lo. So yistapek means generally, I think means satisfied in this case. Mistapek is an expression, mistapek memu'at means, to be satisfied with just a little, right? That he will set, or I may have to go on, or say that he will be satisfied, right? That to do to us the way we did to him, v'hainu, and that is to say, sheyim kareh, that he would sell them, or yikchem la'avadim, or take them as slaves, because that's what they did to him, of course, right? Ach lo yahargem, but he would not kill them. In other words, when it's saying, so what Torah Tamima is saying is they are in fact saying, let him do to us what we did to him, as opposed to killing us. And in this case, the word lu does mean halavai. It should only be, right, that he would sell us into slaves or take us as slaves and not kill us. And that's what's going on here. Ukedei lekayem divrehem, right? And in order to, in fact, establish what they were saying. So this is giving us a really amazing insight into the wording of the text here and this word lu here. Halchuv amru, they went and they said to him, Hinenu lachal abadim, right? Hinenu lachal abadim. Behold, we are your servants, your slaves. And regarding this, he replied to them, Ki be'ikar hachashash shalha shelahem, excuse me, hachashash shelahem ein mamash. He said that in essence, their suspicion had no validity. There was no validity at all. Ya'an ki echefshar, because how would it be possible? How could he possibly kill them? Shiagim, Mahabriotomer. What would people say? Is there a brother who kills his other brothers? So the lu, in fact, doesn't mean, right? Is it possible? Right? It doesn't, or perhaps, or something like, doesn't mean that. It means we hope that this is what he would do as opposed to killing us. And we'll stop today here, and I'm going to stop the share. Amazing. Comments? Any thoughts? Yeah.
The Joseph story, I think, is one of the great ones
Agree.
in the Bible. And the literary aspects, it's sort of like it's dropped into the middle of the Torah and as a very complete story in and of itself. And the messages of exile and thinking about where you came from are, I think, very important ones. When I talked the other day, I misspoke, of course, about the names of Ephraim and Manasseh being Egyptian. Uh, they were not, but on the other hand, if you look at what the names meant, it's pretty much, I have put the past behind me, I have moved on. And I was in misery and now I'm better. And this is the message of the Jewish people through exile. If you look at the generations from whom we are descended, it's pretty much the same story. They put the past behind them, moved into an area, and basically succeeded. And I just find it a remarkable story in and of itself, just self-contained.
I agree. I think I would hold this up as great literature under any
Yes.
circumstance.
Yeah.
It is as great as any great literature could hope to be. The pathos, the human nature involved, dealing with deep psychological truths about human beings, etc. It's fabulous.
And
But I do,
it's
yeah,
also a lengthy narrative. If you look
yes.
at most of the stories in the Torah, they're
Mhm.
abbreviated. This one really goes through from start to finish.
Right. Yeah, as a piece.
Yep.
By the way, I liked what you said really, because in a way you're right. I never thought of it this way, but it encapsulates in so many ways the fate of the Jewish people, that we have brought much good to this world. We've got some stinkers too, there's no doubt about that. But the truth is that by and large, Jews have benefited those societies in which they've settled, and there's hatred and jealousy. So much of what causes anti-Semitism is in fact jealousy.
Mhm.
Jealousy. And that's of course and so it could be that one of the literary themes of this as a foreshadowing of some kind, in terms of the Jewish people and the relationship to the other nations of this world. So I never thought of it that way until you mentioned, Mead, what you just did.
Mhm.
So yeah. It's also something else that I realized, that this last little part that we just did is actually a resolution to the entire book of Genesis on one of its main themes. And one of the main themes of the book of Genesis is Cain and Abel. Cain and Abel, mirrored by Isaac and Ishmael, mirrored by Esau and Jacob, mirrored by Joseph and his brothers. That we see, and I think what the Bible is saying here is that the hatred that we store up against any other individual is, in fact, terrible, terrible. We have no reason to hate others. And of course, nobody, the world yet has to learn this lesson. Hasn't happened yet. And I can only hope, maybe, I don't know. It doesn't seem as if it's happening any sooner right now.
No, no, no. No.
There's a tragic element to this. There really is. Very sad. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording at this point.